Hey guys, my name's Doug with Infotainment.com. Today we're working on Ford and Lincoln vehicles, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the latest technology they have for their infotainment systems. It is called Sync 4. Now Sync 4 itself is an awesome upgrade versus the older Sync 3. You get a lot of added benefits such as advanced voice activated assistant. You get high resolution screens with the Sync 4 system in 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, and 15-inch. They come with or without built-in GPS navigation. They're compatible with the new SiriusXM platform X65, which gives you a whole wide array of benefits for satellite radio. Integrated hands-free Bluetooth, pinch to zoom feature. One of the best features about the Sync 4 is you get the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability. So as soon as you get in your vehicle, your phone will connect. There's no cords, nothing. It shows up as soon as you get in the vehicle. Now, a lot of Fords already come from the factory with the Sync 4 system. So if you want to increase the size of your screen, we can help you over at Infotainment.com. But what about those of you who have Sync 3? If you want Sync 4, it's impossible unless you go with Infotainment.com. We have developed plug-and-play factory OEM Ford and Lincoln kits so you can go from the older technology to the latest and greatest Sync 4. All right guys, today I want to show you an exciting new Infotainment.com exclusive upgrade. This is the 12-inch factory OEM Sync 4 upgrade for the 2015 to 2020 F-150, the 2017 through the 2022 Ford SuperDuty, which includes F-250 through the 550, and the 2018 through 2021 Ford Expedition. So all of the full-size Ford truck vehicles, we're gonna allow you guys, the first time ever, to go from Sync 3 technology to Sync 4 with the high-resolution 12-inch display. You guys are gonna absolutely love this upgrade. It's the largest OEM screen your SuperDuty F-150 or Expedition can obtain. Higher resolution and better visual clarity, especially in situations like the backup mode. 100% OEM, it's compatible with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, onboard GPS navigation, and every factory feature of your truck. You'll be able to increase the value and retain the function of your pickup. Don't make any aftermarket sacrifices. This is an exclusive DIY all-encompassing upgrade right here from Infotainment.com. You can't get it anywhere else. All right guys, you're probably wondering, what does it take to install this upgrade? Well, we have a combination of infotainment parts and factory Ford parts. So first of all, you're going to get the high resolution 12-inch Ford Sync 4 display. You're also going to get a pre-programmed to your VIN number Ford Sync 4 APIM module, along with some custom-made brackets on the back side of the screen and the APIM. You're also going to get factory-grade ABS plastic painted matte black plastic for your vehicle, along with two what we call button bars. If you have the 3 switches on the top of your dash, you can use this. If you have the 2, you can use this one. You can discard the other. We have plug and play wiring. Look at how easy the wiring is, guys. There's not wires all over the place like you would see with an aftermarket system. Look how easy it is. LVDS display cable, plug and play factory molded wiring, a GPS antenna for those who do not have existing GPS, a bag of screws, last but not least, the OBD Genie programmer, which will give you the ability to program the truck to accept this as a factory installed option. So let's get started. I'm gonna show you guys today how easy it is to install in your vehicle.
So we're going to be going from a Sync 3 8-inch to a Sync 4 12-inch. The process is actually pretty similar to swapping out the 3 to 4 8-inch. We're just going to have a few extra parts here, but essentially the teardown is the same. We're going to start up at the top here with the center speaker, and this is just held in with some retaining clips. So a little panel tool will get this popped out, and that's going to expose 2 7mm screws, one on either side of that speaker. And I'm using a magnetic 7mm driver with a screwdriver because it's pretty tight in between the window here. All right, and once you have those screws out, you can remove the center cubby. It's also held in with some retaining clips. Just popping that straight up, and once you have that free, don't forget to unplug your little speaker connector back there, and then you can set this aside. All right, and now that exposes two 7mm screws that are right at the top of your radio bezel. We'll get those out. And now this whole bezel is just held in with some retaining clips. We'll just pull to the rear, and that'll release those clips, and then we can just unplug all of our air conditioning or climate control connectors and the two plugs that we have up top here. All right, we can set this aside. All right, now we're ready to remove our screen, which is 6 7mm screws, 3 on either side. We'll pull those out. When you start to get around this area right here, that's where a magnetic bit really comes in handy, because they like to fall into the dash. All right, we can pull back, and we have our connectors on the back side of the radio that we can just unplug. The one right in the center is a lever type, so if you press down that button right in the center and pull on that lever, it'll slide itself right out of there. All right, so the first step of going to the 12-inch, we're actually going to start with the wiring. So I'm going to plug in the main pass-through harness that our kit comes with. As you get these interconnects close enough together, they'll actually start to sink in there and lift that lever. Once that lever starts to move, you can just pull it down the rest of the way, and you'll get that to clip in. Now on our harness, we have a pigtail here that says 12-inch display screen only on it. You're going to need to use this for the new screen, so we're going to extend that out. And let me tuck this wiring in here. All right, so we got our harness plugged and tucked down in here. This connector is actually going to stay pretty far back here. This one needs to route out to our new 12-inch screen. So basically, so you get an idea of what it's going to look like, this is going to be the bracket in your dash, and this is going to plug into it, and protruding from the front is going to be this plug, as well as this one that also goes to our screen. But before we do any of that, we have our top buttons on our bezel here. We have to actually relocate these wires, so there's plenty of length in here. What we're going to do is pull this back through this hole, and up top is a clip. If we get our panel tool, we can just remove this clip, just like a Christmas tree type of clip in here, and that'll give us a bunch more room to kind of hang this down. The buttons are going to be down here instead of above your screen. They're going to be below it, so you just need it to be long enough so you can still plug those in afterwards. All right, now that we got those two wires pulled down, we'll go ahead and connect up our APIM. Make sure that this connector is slid open before you press it in there. Get that to be nice and secure in there. And we'll also plug in that extra harness that was included with your kit. The pink end goes to the screen, the blue end plugs into the APIM. And our custom bracket has alignment pins just like your factory one does, so you can actually just hang it in there without putting the screws in. But we'll go ahead and reinstall all 6 of those, 3 on either side. All right, once you have your bracket in place, you can go ahead and feed up the pink side of the cable from your APIM through the right hole, or the passenger side. And the one that says to 12-inch display is going to be on the driver's side hole. Okay, and now we're ready to reinstall our radio bezel. But before we go ahead and plug everything back in, we have to pull out our 2 buttons up top here. Some of you may have 3. If you have 3, pull all 3 of them out. And to do that, you squeeze the sides of that button and you push outwards. Maybe easier to do this with a little flathead. You should be able to get it with your fingers. There's the 1 and the 2. All right, now we can get our bezel, plug in everything else. And as we work our bezel back into place, what we want to keep in mind is the button clips or connectors, the ones that were up here that we pulled through the bottom, we want to make sure that that is coming out. You don't want that to be hidden back there as you clip this in. But as we fit this bezel back into place, you notice the top side of this radial bezel actually feeds behind our bracket. Once you get that lipped over there, you can go ahead and snap that back into place. And now we can continue to put the screws in, and we can return everything up top back to normal. All right, now we're ready for the two 7mm that go up top here. Now we can clip our dash cubby back in, plug in that center speaker. Then we'll put the last two screws in up top here. And then lastly, you have your speaker grill. We can clip that back into place. All right, so once your bezel's all in, you have your wires the way you want them, we're now ready to add our plastics. So we'll take our custom dash piece here, we'll feed those wires through. At the bottom, you have your two wires that we pulled out earlier. And when you get this in place, you'll see 4 of the spots actually have little arrows on them. Those are going to be the 4 spots that we put the screws into first. Now, with your kit, it does come with a little baggie of screws. You have a bunch of silver ones and 2 black ones. This whole kit's going to use the silver ones, and these 2 black ones are actually going to go on the outside, where these are going from the front to the back. So, no confusion there. We made them different colors, and that way the black would be aiming forward, so if you do happen to see anything up front, it just looks very seamless. But we will get these 4 screws and we'll put them into the holes next to the arrows. All right, we'll get those screwed down. And what I like to do is, because there's some up and downward play, is I like to line up the screws just with the arrow itself. Now we can grab our metal reinforcing plate here. And there's also alignment pins on there, so this will just kind of hold itself in place. And we can screw these in to the 4 slots that are actually next to the original screws that we just put in. All right, now all this is assembled. There's actually 2 more screws that we're going to put in at the bottom here, and it's actually going down upwards right here. So I'm going to pre-install these screws. There's 2 of them, one on either side, and I'm going to leave it open. I'm not going to tighten it up all the way. I'm going to leave a fairly big gap in there, and that's going to be for our button bar. The screw holes on the outside, on either side, is not used for this application. We're only going to be using the ones on the inside. We'll go ahead and put the other one in. All right, now we're ready for our screen. So before we go ahead and plug this in and stick this in the dash kit here, on the back side of our screen, you can see there's 6 keys here, and there's 6 keyholes on our aluminum bracket. So what we have to do is we have to place the screen into place into the larger section of that keyhole, and then slide the screen upwards. That's going to lock it in. So I'll show you that here. All right, so you see it's sunk in on either side, nice and flush, but you got that gap up top. That is so you can pull it upwards until it locks in place to those keys. And now the screen is actually not secured, but it's not going to come out. That's going to allow you to put in your 2 guidance screws or alignment screws at the bottom, as well as the 2 up top, aiming from the front to the rear. All right, so we'll put these 2 in on the bottom, just like that. All right, and now we'll do the 2 up top. All right, so now we're ready to install our button bar. Like we removed earlier from the upper portion of our bezel, we only had 2 buttons on there. If you did have 3, there are provisions in our kit for 3 buttons, but because ours only had 2, we're gonna use this one. We can disregard the other button bar. We're gonna have to put the button bar in place first before we clip our buttons in. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed the wires through. And you want to be mindful of what button goes where. The button bar itself is keyed, so if you try to get the wrong button into the wrong side, it won't actually go in there. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right button and wiring into the right hole before you go ahead and feed it all through there, just so you don't have to pull it back apart again. But with those screws that we installed earlier, they're threaded in there with enough room so we can fit our button bar into place. It kind of lifts up underneath the screen and tucks up in between those screw slots. So now we can go ahead and tighten down those screws on either side. That'll secure our button bar, and then we can snap our buttons into place. And like I said, these are keyed, so they won't go into the wrong slot. So if you feel tension and it doesn't feel like it's gonna go in, don't force it. Just switch the buttons around. They should go in nice and easy, just like they do from the factory. All right, we got the install all wrapped up. Now from this point, if you have a 17 to 19 Ford SuperDuty, you will not need to use any kind of programmers. The X65 module that we shipped with your kit will be pre-programmed for your vehicle. If you have a 2020 to 2022, you will have to run the included programmer. This will enable mix mode presets on your radio. So from this point, we can turn on the ignition and plug in our programmer until we see a green light, and that way we'll know our vehicle has been programmed. All right, we got a green light, so we're clear to pull this from the vehicle. Even though the vehicle has been programmed, we will save this, stick it in the glove box, just in case for whatever reason we lose programming, we have the ability to reprogram it as needed.
Right away, you guys noticed this awesome new 12-inch display here with the Sync 4 system. What a massive upgrade to your Ford vehicle, not only from the standpoint of aesthetics, but also the technology. It's just such a great transformation. Now I'm gonna show you guys a little bit about it today. So right here in the audio section, right now we're right here on the FM mode. This particular audio control module has not only SiriusXM, but also HD radio. You'll notice that tab up there is on at the moment. All right, now this vehicle obviously has SiriusXM, so we're gonna check that out. Now SiriusXM is one of the biggest, best things about Sync 4, in my opinion. You're gonna get it with the X65 platform, which gives you album art, it gives you better station identification. Depending on your subscription, you'll get more channels. So I'll give you a brief overview of how that looks. You go into that tab there, you'll be able to come in here and change some of your settings. If you're browsing for channels, you can do so by pressing that button, coming through all the genres that you want. You can also obviously scroll through whatever station you want to listen to based on your subscription. So it's really laid out really well, works phenomenal. With the X65 platform, you also get the mix mode presets. So you can see we have AM, FM, satellite radio down here in your preset row. So that's what mix mode is, and that is what you can take advantage of with that X65 platform. Just an awesome, awesome upgrade there for the Sync 4. If you want to connect to your phone, you simply just add your phone there. I did turn off the CarPlay temporarily so I can get through all the tabs, and then here at the end of the video I'm going to show you guys how CarPlay works in Android Auto. Moving on to the navigation, these Sync 4 systems come with or without GPS navigation. So This particular one has built-in GPS navigation. You notice it pinpointed our location immediately. You could come in here and it's got a wide array of different features and options for the Sync 4 GPS navigation. Just so much better than the Sync 3. You get to go to recent addresses. You can obviously say your home and your work address. Just works really, really well. And be able to come in here, and if you want to adjust more things, you can come into this menu here and do that. So really cool. It's got pinch to zoom, so it works awesome. The favorite icon down here, you can move one of these tiles down as a favorite if you're constantly going in and, let's just say, adjusting your ambient lighting. If that's something that you have, you can move that down. Keep in mind, with this upgrade, we pre-program it to your exact VIN number. So when you guys receive the kit from us, it will work exactly the way it needs to. So just as an example, before I move to apps, your steering wheel controls, all your Bluetooth buttons and functionality on your steering wheel work perfect. Something I'll jump into real quick, the backup camera. I mean, just look at the quality and how large the backup camera is. Just from a safety perspective, it is such an awesome part of this Sync 4 system. So what we'll do now is we'll go into apps. You'll be able to control Apple CarPlay, Android Auto right through this menu here. And then the settings menu, as I mentioned before, this is pre-programmed to your exact vehicle. So if you have certain features that others don't, you'll see it and they won't. So it'll be programmed exactly for your vehicle, and you'll be able to come into the settings menu. I won't do it today, but you can come in here and change things however you'd like. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is this feature over here on the right hand side. Because it's such a big screen, Ford designed it so you can have some tiles over here that are handy and quick and easy to get. So as you can see, this is in the audio section here. You can go up to climate, off-road, your phone, or even GPS navigation. So if you're in, let's just say, a different mode, you can always have your maps on over here in the corner. So you can set it to whatever you'd like. All right, another thing I want to show you guys here, obviously one of the absolute best parts about Sync 4 is wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So a very convenient feature. You start your vehicle, you get in, and right away it pairs to your phone. You're not tethered through a USB. You just get in and it starts working. So, and then obviously if you have the 12-inch screen in your vehicle, it makes such a big difference. You can push that out of the way by pressing this button here, and now you have a full screen Apple CarPlay. It is just amazing, the functionality of this in this vehicle. So you have your recent used apps over here. If you press this, you can obviously go through and select whatever app that you want. Just as an example, Google Maps with the satellite view. It's such an awesome thing here, the wireless Apple CarPlay. Now I'm going to show you guys how Android Auto works wirelessly. All right, now for Android Auto, let me show you guys how that works. So as you can see, wireless Android Auto, there is a little icon down here that you can press to move that tile out of the way. Now you have a full 12-inch Android Auto in your Ford vehicle. Works just the way that Android Auto works. You have your favorites here. You can press that button. You can scroll through all of the applications. So again, works really well. And I think you guys will love the fact that this will be a complete wireless application, both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that upgrade just as much as we enjoyed developing it. We were here established in 2008, and we've been helping over 100,000 customers do upgrades to their vehicle. So we carry this upgrade and so much more on our website, Infotainment.com. We service what we sell. We have a whole staff that services parts all day long. We also have in-house advisors that can advise you and help you from start to finish. We also have a compatibility guarantee. As I mentioned in the video, we will get your 17-digit VIN number to ensure that everything is programmed to the modules for a seamless installation in your exact vehicle. We also have extended warranties for those of you who would like to take advantage of that. Those of you who pulled out your old gear and you don't want it just to sit in your garage forever, we actually offer trade-in value to your old gear. So be sure to go to our website for more information on that. Last but not least, if you have a request for your vehicle, you want a factory OEM upgrade for your vehicle and you don't see it on our website, we have a product request form that our research and development department looks at every single day. So request that product and we'll get back with you with a possible solution. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and have a great day.